Morning. Happy Monday the 8th. I'm excited about the eclipse. I know you can't tell, but I am. I was in prayer the other day, and in my reading in First Chronicles chapter 14 verse 8, I was reminded of how important it is to hear God in his totality, like not to cut him off or be so quick to think that you're going to know what he's going to say, because sometimes God can tweak things, and you see that multiple times in the Bible, and this verse or these verses is an example of that. So I started chapter 8, and it reads, when the Philistines heard that David had been anointed king over Israel, they all went up in full force to search for him. But David heard about it and went out to meet them. Now the Philistines had come to and raided the valley of Raim, I believe. So David inquired of God, shall I go and attack the Philistines? Will you deliver them into my hands? And the Lord answered him, go, I will deliver them into your hands. And so, of course, he defeated them that time. Jumping down to verse 13, it says, once more the Philistines raided the valley. So David inquired of God again, and God answered him, do not go directly after them, but circle around them and attack them in front of the poplar trees. As soon as you hear the sound of marching in the top of the poplar trees, move out to battle, because that will mean God has gone out in front of you to strike the Philistine army. So David did as God commanded, and they struck down the Philistines' army all the way from Gibeon to Gezer. So he gave him victory both times, but he gave him two different ways to get that victory. And so the first time he let David do it. The second time he gave him specific instructions as to how he will overtake them. And so sometimes we have to wait on all the instructions from God. We have to hear all the instructions from God, because sometimes God will be with you in battle, and sometimes he will go ahead of you and defeat the battle before you. And you are still to show up and do your part. But when God goes before you, he already gave you victory. And if he sent you, you're going to have the victory anyway. But if David was to go out and do as he did before, he would have lost the battle. If he hadn't heard all of God's instruction, he would have lost the battle. The same thing happened, kind of, sort of, with Moses. When the people cried out for water, God told him to tap the rock 2 times, and he did, and the water came out, as you know the story. And the second time, God told him to tap the rock once, and out of his frustration, he tapped it twice, and the water still came out. But God was very upset with Moses, because he didn't follow instruction. And so because he didn't follow instruction, he told him he wanted to inherit the promised land, and he didn't. And so it's important to hear from God, and listen to every instruction that he gives you, because when you get prideful and think you know what God is going to say, you get yourself in trouble. And that very thing can keep you from your promised land. Enjoy the eclipse. Have a good day.